Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully we are live. Just gonna double check with some people to make sure we're live. I think we're live. Yep. Detsu, how you doing, man? Hopefully everything is good. I tried to go live earlier, but that didn't work out. But hopefully you guys are enjoying your Tuesday, or AKA NBA basketball day, as we know that the NBA is officially returning. Let me see if I can just fix it. 1 second, Descu. I'm going to fix that. It should work. Okay. I think we're good now. All right. There we go. Now we're officially live. There you go. Perfect. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying, like I said, your Tuesday. Like I said, NBA is on tonight. Just kind of wanted to quickly do a little stream before the NBA season starts, and so just kind of wanted to try this YouTube Live app. And I know that Brad and Pete would have been here, but unfortunately they're caught up with some stuff, so they'll definitely be watching these games. And I'm excited when we do meet up again to kind of talk about that. But I just quickly wanted to go over this NBA news that's kind of come out this morning. As I was heading to the gym, the NBA news that came about was, of course, the trade for Joel Embiid. If you guys don't know, we know that the 76ers are in this sort of situation where they are looking to trade. They are looking to get rid of Joel Embiid. Well, I guess that's not true, right? They're not really looking to try to get rid of him, but I could definitely see a situation where the 76ers are going to be forced to look to move on, because I think Joel Embiid is tired of it. He's tired of the fact that, and I'm just going to quickly pull up the story as we get ready. I just think that they're tired. I think Joel Embiid is tired of these stories always coming up about him, everything that's been going on, and so it is a frustrating situation to see that Joel Embiid is tired. But this morning, before I went to work out, I did get the news update that the New York Knicks have been made acquired, or they're looking to acquire Joel Embiid. And this is, of course, the story coming from the Philadelphia Inquirer. And I'll kind of read the story out to you guys. The New York Knicks have made acquiring Joel Embiid the number one priority should he become available on the trade market. We know that this potentially could be a big move. The story does go on to say that the Knicks are reportedly putting Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Evan Fournier, and 2 to 3 first-round picks for Joel Embiid. Obviously, as I said right now, there's no indications that Joel Embiid will be traded. But, and Desu, you can tell me in the comments what you think about this trade, and anybody else that kind of joins in. I'm a little bit hesitant for the New York Knicks, and I know, Pete, we talked about this. I know if you're watching it, we've talked about this in our group chat with you, me, and Brad. I'm concerned that this is going to be Carmelo Anthony 2.0. And the reason why I say that is because really the New York Knicks were a really strong basketball team when they had Melo. And they had, Amari Stoudemire. They had, I think they had Raymond Felton at the time. I mean, they had some strong players that definitely made up the core nucleus of this team. But I'm worried that's going to leave them thin in the bench again to a point where it's going to hurt them, because, Quickly is going to be a free agent soon. We know that that's kind of a situation that's been rumbling for the New York Knicks. And so, I just don't want the Knicks to have the same and Grimes, I can't forget about Grimes. I've been shouting him out in our discourse that we've been talking about. But I'm concerned that the Knicks are going to do a Carmelo Anthony 2.0. And I know that, all three of us will meet together and talk about this topic, because I think it is a very interesting topic. But I think it just reminds me, and it just feels eerily similar to what's going to be going on in the future. And so like I said, plus, we don't really know much about the Joel Embiid injury history, and I think that's another thing that I think people are forgetting about. Joel Embiid, throughout probably his whole playoff career, has always been hurt. And for me, the whole point of the New York Knicks making the trade for Joel Embiid is because you believe that the core nucleus of Jalen Brunson and Joel Embiid can win you an NBA championship. And if you are okay with that, then that is fine. But you also have to know has to be a concern for anybody that's trying to get him. And it's not me trying to hate on Joel Embiid or anything like that, because when Joel Embiid is on one, then it's perfect. Like, we know what Joel Embiid is as the most dominant player. My concern, like I talked about and what I'm saying here, is that I don't know if he's going to be available for the playoffs. And ultimately, that's really what this is about. Unless you think that this is about tickets and getting revenue and bringing people into New York again, trying to have the best player or one of the best players or an MVP playing for the Knicks. I think the Knicks are better off just trying to continuously get better. I feel like this team is like a 4 to 5 seed once again, and I think we'll do an amazing job of maybe knocking a team out of the playoffs like they did last year. I think that's kind of what I see for the New York Knicks from here on out. And Pete, I know you're probably going to be screaming your head off when I talk about it, but that's kind of just the feeling I get personally when I watch the New York Knicks. Like, they're a good team. I like everything about them, but ultimately, I'm kind of left scratching my head for some. Of course, does this move the needle for the Knicks to be NBA championship contenders? Personally, I say no, but some people say yes. And let me know in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with my assessment? Do you guys disagree? Like, is this trade going to help the Knicks get to an NBA championship? Because, like I said, I don't think personally it will. But it will definitely bring butts and seats. I think Joel Embiid is an amazing talent. I don't think that when you bring a guy like that in, a caliber quality player like that, he's clearly going to bring everybody into New York. My concern, like I said, is kind of the injury history for him, and is he enough to help you win a championship? Like I said, I personally don't think so. I think he's a good player. He's an MVP, clearly. But I still think the concern for me when it comes to him is just, again, the health. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Deskew, let me see what you're saying here. I hope the Celtics can win it all. I hope too, man. They're my NBA preseason favorites to win, and so I'm hoping that that's going to be the case. But yeah, I mean, if everything goes well, I'm going to send some Dr. Scholl's plantar fasciitis heel cups for my guy Chris Stapps because he's been dealing with that stuff. So hopefully that can be situated. Pete or Hilo, you said get us closer for sure, but not enough to justify doing it. Yeah, and I mean that's kind of my assessment when I think about this whole situation. Again, I'm a huge fan of Joel Embiid. I think he's a great player. Now, I think last year was a little bit of last year I think was the same old song and dance with Joel Embiid, and I just feel like it's going to be the same old song and dance in his career. Is he seems to be out of shape a little bit, and it continues to be a problem for him. Um, it's him and James Harden are the same type of guy in terms of that seems like they always come like just not in shape, not ready to endure an 82 game basketball season plus playoffs. And that is where I would personally be concerned if you're a Knicks fan. And again, trying to make this trade because not only are you giving up those assets, you're also giving up those first round picks. And I know Joel Embiid is worth the first round picks. Don't get me wrong. And don't get me wrong about these players, but at the same time, you can't be stuck in the moment if you're a Knicks fan. You can't be stuck in the moment um, thinking that he's going to save the franchise because to me, he's not going to save the franchise whatsoever. I think that he is a guy that can definitely help you move along in the playoffs. He's definitely a guy that can help you. I'm trying to think of the right words here, but he can definitely like get you to a playoff series. Can definitely win you one, maybe even two, for sure one. But I'm not two. It's a little iffy because I don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. And so that is why I'm hesitant to do it because I think it's just Melo 2.0. Because I think if they would have just wait till he's a free agent, waited till Melo was a free agent, they would have had so much more room to work with and say, okay, now we can just kind of get rid of some of these contracts and keep the guys that we like for Carmelo Anthony. And so that is kind of where I'm going with it. And so let me know in the comment section down below, do you guys agree or disagree with this news? Because again, this is going to be a huge thing for the Knicks if they're going to really commit to getting this guy on their team. I personally am going to be a little bit hesitant on that, but maybe you guys can disagree with me or let me know in the comment section or in the live chat. I'm just going to quickly go over some other stories. I know that we just talked for a little bit, like 10 minutes about this. The other story is, of course, I think we'll talk about the Marcus Smart story another day. Um, Pistons, oof, that's a big news. Some news injuries for them. No Bogdanovich, no Monte Morris for the Pistons. That's going to hurt them a little bit. Jose Alvarado out for 2 weeks. Yikes. Um, let's go with this one because I think this one's also big. Um, and then we'll kind of get out of here. Bradley Beal, unlikely to play opening night. That is a huge, huge red flag right there. We know that he's had a back injury. I think he's had a realignment or something like that. I think that's kind of what he's been doing. Um, but it's a big concern if he can't play in the game because you brought in this guy to be your third or even second, really your third scorer. You know, with Kevin Durant being number one, probably, or maybe Booker one. Kind of the older player, let the other guys cook, and then he can get the bits. And so now, who is going to be in his place as those other guys are playing? That is a big concern if you are the Phoenix Suns, because now you have to bring in a guy like Grayson Allen or some of these, or Watanabe maybe even. Those things, I'm very curious to see how they're going to play this situation because it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a really tough outgoing for them. You know, I know Draymond Green is out for the Golden State Warriors because I think he had an ankle injury a couple weeks back. So they are kind of lucky in that sense as well. Both teams are going to be out with their guys, but I think it's going to be a concern because, you know, he just had this back injury, and because he just had this back injury, I just think it's going to be a huge red flag moving forward because so far KD has not stayed healthy these last couple years. And you know, there's a little bit of a concern whether he's going to stay healthy or not. Um, you have this Bradley Beal injury. Booker, for the most part, stays healthy. But if you're down to just Booker, and then you think about the rest of that bench, I don't know if you're winning a lot of games that, like, especially the big games, the crucial games. That's going to get you a high seed because I think it's going to be competitive between the Lakers and the Nuggets this coming season. And we've talked about this before on the channel. If you guys haven't checked it out, go and check that out. And I'm just going to say a couple things before we head out of here. And so to me, that is the big concern if you are the Phoenix Suns, because you basically gave away all your pieces, gave away everything to get these three guys to be together, to score together, and you brought in Nurkic to kind of be the bruiser, the guy who gets the rebounds. Um, but man, like as soon as you have one guy down, you bring in another guy off the bench, like that just changes up the whole rotation, changes up the whole minutes. I'll be curious to see what Stotts does. Vogel. Excuse me, Vogel. I'm very curious to see what Vogel will do with that lineup, who he puts in there, and whatnot. And so, yeah, I think that's going to do it here for us today on The Charge, bringing the latest NBA news and rumors and basketball opinions. Doing it live from the car just because I'll be hosting Open Gym for my high school team in a little bit. So that's why I'm live here and not in my studio. But anyway, guys, thank you once again for joining us here on The Charge, doing the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Enjoy today's games. It's exciting. It's a fun time. The NBA is finally back. I'm excited. You should be excited. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode of The Charge. Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next video, which actually should be out tomorrow at 9 a.m. Check that video out. And of course, check our other videos out that we've had throughout the week. I think yesterday we did a video, or today actually, we did a video on Victor Wembanyama, and could he potentially be the Rookie of the Year in his first year? And also, I believe, can he be an All-Star in year one? That's another thing that we talked about here on The Charge as of today. But anyway, guys, check out tomorrow's video, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.